Hi guys, and welcome back to Beauty Fortified, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the new reformulated Revlon Colorstay foundation for combination oily skin. Now, I have done a previous review on the previous incarnation of the foundation, and I will put a link to this review at the end of this video and down below. And I remember giving this a 6 out of 10. Now, I used to love this foundation about 25 years ago. It came out and it had something called Soft Flex in it. It smelled like paint, but it really was a fantastic foundation for my then quite oily skin. And it even performed better than Estee Lauder Double Wear. But there have been some reformulations over the years. And so the last time that I tried and tested this, I wasn't really blown away by it. And so I gave it a 6, which is quite a sort of middle of the road rating. Now, this foundation does come out in 2 versions. So there is one for dry to normal skin and then one for combination to oily skin. And I always take the combination oily skin version because I do have combination skin which does tend to get a little bit shiny. So I always go for the version that is going to give me some mattifying effects and is going to help to control my oils. So they say that this new formulation is new and improved. They don't really say how it is improved. They just say that to the one for combination oily skin, they've added vitamin E. And for the one for dry skin, dry normal skin, they've added hyaluronic acid. So those are 2 quite small tweaks. They do still say that both foundations are 24-hour wear. And of course, they do go on to say that the one for combination skin mattifies and controls oil, etc., etc. So I thought I'm going to put it to the test. I didn't purchase the foundation this time around. I got a little sample because I was not really blown away by the previous version, so wasn't ready to spend my earned money on it before I had tried it out. So what I'm going to do is on this side of my face, I'm going to use the old version, and on this side, the new version, and then we are going to compare the 2. So I'm going to take a little bit of the old formulation, and I'm just going to dab it onto this side of my face. Now, I am in the shade True Beige, and I found that through the years, it's always stayed consistent with Revlon, and it's always been a really good match for my skin. And so these foundations are no different. I am going to swatch them both side by side. So the shades do look very similar. So that's the old version there, and next to it is the new version. And True Beige is looking pretty, the color is looking pretty similar. So the old formulation, I'm just going to dot a little bit of that all over my skin. It really is a good shade match for me, this. So quite lucky. I'm not quite sure how many colors are in the range, but I will find out for you and I will put it up on screen. So just taking a foundation brush, I'm just going to gently buff this into my skin. I'm sure you could probably use a sponge as well. I'm preferring a brush at the moment because it's just a little bit quicker. And this is giving me a really nice matte, satin matte finish. It is really blending in beautifully. It's not exacerbating my texture. It really is giving me quite a nice finish. I think it is quite a buildable foundation, so I've just added a very light layer of that. Just whatever's left on the back of my hand, I am going to just put over my pores and see if that helps a little bit to minimize the look of them. And so off the bat, it really is looking quite good. I think I'm just going to take a tiny bit more onto my forehead because I really want to get a good comparison between these 2. So I just want to make sure I have got enough there to see how it performs and what the effects are. And yes, it is buildable. And it really does go in nicely with the brush. So I still have quite a light layer on. It's not cakey at all. My brush is shedding. And it really does look quite good on the skin. So it's not going a long way to disguise or minimize my pores. But it's not exacerbating them either. So it is kind of middle of the road when it comes to texture. It's not doing anything to make it look a whole lot worse. So taking the new formulation, my little sample, I'm going to do the same thing on this side and just dot in a few dots of that. And I am going to be interested to see if this does have more kind of oil controlling properties, because I found that with the previous version that is somewhat lacking. Definitely not anywhere close to where it used to be with the original Soft Flex version. But then again, that was 25 years ago. My skin was quite different. I did have a lot of pores, but pores do get bigger as you get a little bit older as well. So, and my skin was quite a bit oilier in those days. This is going on beautifully. I'm really liking the look of that. It's going on very similar to this side. It is giving me a satin matte finish as well. The shade is perfect for my skin. It just blends in really beautifully. And it does look really good on the skin at the outset. It's definitely not exacerbating my pores. I would say it's actually disguising them a tiny bit more than the older version, but that could be that it's still a little bit wet. It's still got to dry down, but it is looking like it's giving me a slightly smoother finish. Definitely not a flat matte finish. There is definitely a bit of glow to the foundation as well. Interestingly, just smelling this one, I do detect there's not a fragrance in here, but it is, it's not that same paint smell that the old one had, but there is a little smell of something, but it's definitely not offensive. But I always like to smell them just to see if they have added any fragrance, etc., etc. But it is fragrance-free for all intents and purposes. So it's also an oil-free foundation. They say that it is transfer-proof, sweat-proof. I think they might even go as far as to say that it's waterproof. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to check that. But they do level all these wonderful claims at this foundation. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it wears against this one. So this side is just a little bit, you might say, tacky. This side, just a little bit tacky, but I'm sure that that is going to dry down in time. So I am going to powder down, and I am going to go in with my Revlon Candid powder. And this is just the loose powder. I'm just going to put a light dusting of that all over my face. I do like this powder, and I really do like the way that it helps to minimize the look of my pores, and it also mattifies my skin. So we're just going to go in with a big fluffy brush and just going to gently powder this down, not going overboard with powder. I am just taking away the shine or a little bit of the satin finish, but I am expecting the foundation to do the heavy lifting in terms of oil control. So definitely I feel that this side is smoother, so the new formulation is giving me a slightly smoother finish. And this side, not bad at all, not exacerbating my pores, but probably just not quite as smooth as that side. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of blush. I'm going in with a Revlon. This is in Naughty Nude. This is more like a kind of bronzer. So this is all that I'm going to be applying to my cheeks today. So just going to apply a little bit of this. It does sit well on the foundation. And this is just a lovely, these blushes are lovely. They're just really soft. They do give you a little bit of kickback, but they really are beautiful for mature skin. They're just very soft and blendable. So I really, really like them. And then I'm just going to put on a little bit of lipstick. I'm going in today with the Revlon, one of their Shine lipsticks, and this is in the shade Rum Raisin. So I'm just going to pop on a little bit of lipstick, and then I am going to come back and give you my final thoughts on the foundation. So I've had the foundation on now for a good 20 minutes, so it's given it a chance to dry down and to set. Just looking closely at my skin, whereas I thought the new version was being a little bit kinder to my pores. It has kind of settled down now, and so it doesn't have a hugely blurring effect on my pores. It's looking very, very similar to the old version. So they're both looking very, very similar. I cannot tell them apart. They're both very easy to blend, and the shade is really great, and the foundation is looking really, really good. So I think that the proof in the pudding for me is going to be which one has more oil control. And I did find that the previous version didn't really go a long way to controlling my oils. So we're going to see with the new version if it has improved, because I think that that would really be one huge benefit that the previous version just doesn't provide, and that is a whole lot of oil control. So if the new version provides oil control, I might just be quite tempted to go out and buy it, because I can say that in all other respects it really is a great foundation. It really does look good on the skin. So I'm going to leave you a pinned comment down below. I'm going to wear this foundation for 6 to 8 hours, and I am going to leave you a comment down below and let you know how both sides performed, and I am going to be watching them very closely. So guys, on that note, I am going to leave you with a link to my video where I review a whole lot of Revlon cosmetics. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.